Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandrago's Cave. Today we are gonna be drawing Brook from One Piece, yeah, the Soul King, one of the Straw Hats Nakamas, and yeah, he's a very weird skeleton. As if you're following One Piece, you know about him already. I wanna draw him because obviously I have theories and ideas about every single character from the main crew. And as well, I want to kind of, pass through all of them, through all the Straw Hats slowly, talk a little bit about many theories, many characters here in the channel. And Brook is one of those ideas that I had for a very long time, and I kind of wanted to find a specific time to do it, but the story of Egghead, as I said in the previous One Piece video with Albedo, it happened the same with Albedo. I had my little note about Brook. I'm gonna do this video. I wanna touch about the concept of immortality in Brook, and what we know about Brook basically is that he is a live skeleton because he ate the Jomi Jomi fruit, and basically, his fruit it grants him the power of resurrection once, in theory is once, and he should be looking normal. What happened with Brook is that because he went to the he was trapped in the thriller bark mist in this triangle, Bermuda Triangle concept for One Piece. We see that the soul, when the soul leaves the body and tries to come back, he gets lost, and what he finds after a long time is a Brook skeleton already. So he comes back into the body without realizing it's a skeleton, and it revives as a skeleton. Okay, that is crazy, but it's giving him a second chance. I think with Brook introduction and the concept of horror story and Halloween and everything is one of the very best introductions in the whole One Piece story for character. Okay, it's very quirky, very mysterious, very new, I never seen something like that, and I read a lot and I watched a lot of other stories. So I'm gonna be doing the Brook today, as I'm saying. Little bit scary Brook cartoon, as I always do. I always do my kind of cartoon version of the characters. So yeah, basically I think it's one of those crazy characters that I wanna touch. Brook and the story of Brook is in the whole One Piece concept is a very poetic story. I think as well because Oda wanted to represent this concept, that's why he touched the music with him, and he decided to make him a musician who plays everything, mainly the violin and the piano, but basically he can play everything. And with the concept of immortality, I wanted to talk, or I thought it would be a nice idea to talk about it today, because with the latest One Piece manga chapter, okay, obviously I'm gonna be talking about theory, I'm gonna talking about the spoilers, and if you don't want to, or if you are not up to date with the manga, please switch to another video in the channel. But basically, in the latest manga episode, we see Emmet. Emmet is this giant robot in Egghead, and this guy basically, we see like a mini flashback in shadow still of what is Joy Boy, starting to Oda is starting to show us Joy Boy, and the problem here is there is a conversation, short conversation, a couple of panels there saying I'm gonna imbue this string with my haki, my strongest haki, and you can store it and use it in the future when you are in danger or when someone that you love is in danger. And Emmet uses now to protect Luffy because Luffy reminds him to Joy Boy. Okay, and basically The problematic here and the comparison with Brook that I see is the conversation. Joy Boy says, you are gonna be alive for a very long time, much more than me. Use this in the future, and it's like I'm helping you from the past, like I'm still helping you, like I'm helping you now. And there's a lot of information in this episode, but that bit touched my connection. So I made connection there with the concept of immortality and eternity with Brook, and I wanted to say my opinion and what do I think is happening and what is gonna happen with Brook regarding all this aspect. Okay, because Emmet, it looks like Frankie, like Shogun Frankie, like a cyborg or robot or inanimate object that is being made alive, like a clone or something. But at the same time, it connects as well with Brook, and with the concept of outliving everyone and having to be there after 900, 800 years, 1000 years. We don't know how old he is in reality. So first of all, I just want to talk 2 minutes or 1 minute about the episode, and then I'm going to focus full on in Brook, okay? So I love the concept of the stored haki in a rope, like I explained with Nami's Weatheria adventure with Haredas. Haredas is this old man looking like a wizard or like a druid, like a magician, and he plays with the weather, and he is a special. He has special abilities, and he shows Nami that by pulling the string, he can create a little bit of a wind, like even a hurricane, basically after that. So I think we will see more of this. More of this. He needs to introduce Nami. I was debating today between drawing and theorizing about Nami and this concept, because I have a very, very interesting theory. Probably I'll leave it for next week or for another time, but I was debating between or drawing Nami or drawing Brook, because it reminds me this moment to both of these characters, and I have information that I'm kind of brewing in my mind, and I want to share with you about both of them. And I haven't drawn any of them, no Brook, no Nami yet, so it's perfect. Let's just focus a little bit in drawing, even if it is kind of basic, some basic image about Brook, and then I carry on with the theory. 1 second. We have the hand here coming out like this. Sometimes this happens to me all the time. I may start talking about the theory and sometimes I forgot about the drawing. I don't want to do the channel without drawing. I wouldn't like to do that because it is very important for me. I love to draw, and this is what I want to do in the channel. Basically, show some drawings while I talk about what I'm drawing. It doesn't need to be specific one piece, but sometimes sometimes you lose track of what is going on, and you start talking about something and you stop drawing. But yeah, basically, let's do with this drawing. I'm afraid Brook is so long, so long, that we are gonna be out of the frame 100%. So the size I would do for the feet is basically here. And I'm gonna try to pull the waist a little bit more up. And that means what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the hat, and that's it. Probably something like this. Let's see if we can actually see here. If you are a fan of One Piece, you know which moment I'm drawing. This is the beginning when he's introducing the story and everything, and he's on the boat introducing himself, like farting and burping and yeah, basically wanting to join Luffy straight away because he's alone. And yeah, so let's do. He has this kind of very Victorian type of laces and bows and thing, very gentleman, very nice. But afterwards he happens to be a very strong pervert. So we have first this, we need to do this one and then this other one like this. Okay. And for the arm as well here, he has all the skeleton fingers like this. And this, okay, looking nice and looking interesting as well. I think I could stretch the head a little bit more for this. The face should be starting here like this, and then we will pull him a little bit up. Yeah, like this. So scary. Imagine watching this or seeing this in real life, that you are traveling around, you know, the sea or whatever, and you see the ghost ship and you see this talking skeleton coming up to you, laughing and oh my god, that would be so scary. Like I see myself like Nami and Usopp doing those Nami and Usopp things there. And then this afro, I love much more this afro at the beginning, I have to say as well. It's more bushy, more is like round, yeah, but it has a shape on its own. All these kind of waves on the hair and everything, I find it very nicely designed. And now lately it's more just like a circle, and yeah, it's okay, it's nice, but yeah, I like it more this way, that it has a little bit of irregularity within as well when he's fighting with Ryuma and everything, and very interesting. Okay, something like this. So basically, I mentioned in one of my previous videos that the giant would do a massive, some sort of explosion or something like that, and this will get very crazy, and this works for me. He has done this explosion, and we see that the Gorosei has been sent back to their positions. Imu felt it. This is a very positive point into my Gorosei are sentience from Imu theory that I'm gonna put here on the top so you can watch it. All the things that Oda is laying in Egghead so far is telling me that, like Prince Grus, Imu created these kind of demons, that they are the Gorosei, and puppeteers them from the distance. You can feel free to watch that video. Very interesting, very nice. She felt it, or he felt it. We don't know if he is male or female, but Imu felt it. That means that these guys are connected to Imu. Saturn stayed basically because he actually traveled there, he moved there with the boat, he wasn't summoned, so the ones summoned by energy, they were kind of kicked out of the scene. And I have been rereading the full Egghead now, and with various different translations and everything, and the Marines, when the Gorosei arrive, they refer to this darkness that they see, this kind of, you know, like underworld or you know, Satan thing, as a black lightning. And all the references that we have as black lightning in One Piece refers to Conqueror's Haki, like strings of Conqueror Haki. So basically, as we have seen this such amount of power coming from the stored Haki from Joy Boy, maybe what Imu is using and the Gorosei are using for this kind of teleportation is Haki as well. We see that within the Haki they need to be different type of uses. Like we see Shanks at the end of Wano is able to paralyze Aramaki Green Bull, the Admiral Green Bull, and make him not go further. And only because of this, and because we have seen now with Joy Boy, I think Haki may have very funny and particular applications that we don't know yet. And For Imu, for example, to be able to manipulate this crazy amount and tremendous amount of haki to they actually look like the Enel attack in the Skypia island, that is like boof, boof, like thunders and everything. Combined with the fruit, obviously, the teleport as well, I think, is combined with the fruit, the Satan fruit that Imu may have for the summoning. That is crazy. So, kind of, those are the few couple of things I wanted to mention about the episode. But now let's go back to Brook, okay? As Emmet, we have seen here, is Brook immortal? Is Brook immortal? I think he seems to be immortal, but because, you know, he can be taken apart. We've seen him fall into pieces, and then he can put himself together. Even the head falls, and he puts the head back. He breaks something, a bone, his head, and drinks a little bit of milk, and with the funny gag, with the funny thing, and he's as fresh as new, and yeah. So basically, that is a power to be reckoned, a power to be considered as a very important in the One Piece story. Okay, this concept, where is Brook gonna be? Like at the end of the story, Luffy and company, Luffy and the Nakamas will die. Not at the end of One Piece as we know, or maybe someone dies, we don't know, but we're not talking about that specific. We are talking about time. In time, at some point, Luffy will die, Zoro will die, Usopp will die, everyone will die, but Brook, for we have seen about him, he cannot die. He cannot die. That is a problem. So it can be interesting, and I always loved the concept of someone remaining to tell the stories and the adventures of Luffy, like a storyteller, because this is a storytelling. This is Oda showcasing pure storytelling with One Piece and with Luffy, okay, with Luffy's stories. And maybe at the very end of the story, it ends up that Brook is telling the whole story. Yeah, it will work for me, okay? And it can be nice. I always thought as well about Usopp maybe telling the stories because he's the liar, but Brook actually fits the bill to be that person at the very end of the story, okay? But for eternity, I think it would be a very cruel fate for Brook, even if he 100% enjoyed his second life with Luffy and the adventures of Luffy and everything. I think it can be very cruel. Let's carry on a little bit. I want to start kind of doing some line work, okay? Just go a little bit sweet and delicate here to do the whole design. At the beginning, Brook had his eyes a little bit more sad because we don't know his story yet. Okay. Feel free to tell me in the comments what do you think about Brook as well, okay? Brook is a very funny character, very loved character. Is a little bit too pervert for me, for my taste in the story, like Sanji. When I do the video about Sanji, I will talk about this as well. But basically, it's very interesting. He was designed since the very beginning as a skeleton. There are initial drawings of the group, and you can see there that there's like a little guy that was supposed to be Frankie. There is a human-sized reindeer supposed to be Chopper, and there is a skeleton with a typical pirate hat that later we see in Yorkie and everything. So Oda has been brewing these characters for a very long time, and he had obviously different options and different ideas for designs to go with them and everything. So let's do, this is like this, and then he has like some kind of pearls or something there today's drawing I'm trying to do it smaller than normal because, as I said before, Brook is very tall, very big character, and very long. I will say long because the legs and everything are very long. So I'm trying to do him in a small size. Let's see how it's gonna be looking at the end. Let's add these lines. This is these funny coats that he has, the funny robe that he has there. Okay, it's very thin, very thin. I love these fantasy character designs. I love it. So as we are talking about immortality, we're talking about eternity and everything. So I think here it comes Trafalgar Law with his OP, with the immortality surgery. I think this is his sole purpose in the story after being defeated. I have a full video about Law being short that I'm gonna put here that is gonna be very relevant. I don't think Law is gonna use the immortality surgery or the swap of the personality like we see in Punk Hazard. That is not for Luffy, that is not for Imu, that is for Brook as a friendship. I think there will be a very nice Law is short reveal, as I explained in that video, probably at the very end of the Elbaf saga, because we have seen him defeated, and now I think we're gonna be seeing him in the hospital with Drake and everything. I have a very nice theory about Drake that I will put in the show more sections because it is not connected 100% to the Brook idea, but it is connected to Law. So I'm gonna put in the show more sections, okay? So I think Law needs to have this short reveal, fulfilling the theory of Nico Robin of all the pirate alliances end up in betrayal, and labeling Law as a liar, but not being a problem for Luffy because they are friends, they are Nakama. But by the reveal and the situations that are going to happen with Sword and Blackbeard and the end of the story, Law needs to be in a pickle, in a very strong and difficult situation, like near deathbed basically, and in a situation that we will cry because we love Law. Law wasn't meant to be a character that important in the story, but how the story elongated so long, very long, 27 years now. Last week, 2 weeks ago was the anniversary, and he came out in the polls, in the One Piece polls that Oda does every month, very nicely situated. So Oda introduced him more and more in the story with Doflamingo and with the Shichibukai and his whole specific role in the story and all his superpowers within the OP, okay? I think that sword reveal will be hard, so please check the video and to understand it, but we know that Doflamingo wanted the fruit because this technique, but is this technique real? It may be a fantasy created around the OP, and maybe the special technique that everyone is looking for, that I mentioned many times before in my Law video, in my Imu video, in my Drake video, is the swap. Is the swap with the other people that we see in Punk Hazard. When Frankie is Nami and Nami is Sanji and Sanji is Chopper and all of these things, these totally work for these purposes, okay? For it works for Imu, it works for Doflamingo, because if Doflamingo would have taken Imu's body, Doflamingo is the king of the world, that's what he wanted, and no one realizes because he looks like Imu, okay? So I always thought that what Doffy really wanted was to swap bodies with Imu. Now we know that Imu wants Bibi, and I think what he wants is to swap the body with Lily, with Lost Fruit. Or with another fruit, basically, but I think specifically with the OP. And to keep reigning and looking the same. I put my Imu video here as well, because it is connected to this as well, and I think when we see Imu reveal, it's gonna look like Bibi, and he's basically gonna be doing, he already done 800 years ago, a swap with Lily, and it's gonna be Lily, but inside is Imu. I explain everything in that theory. We see Saturn as well in this whole Egghead saga experimenting with Genie, giving the powers to Genie, but Genie ends up dying, and then Bonnie has the powers of the time, or of time, and I think he could be looking into replicating more than one fruit relating to time and all these things, and so please check out the Emo video as well, because it's very interesting. And with all this information, I think it tightly connects to Brook. And now that they are mentioning and including Emmet in this conversation, it is very important. But yeah, let's come back to Brook and focus in Brook, and let's say this is true, okay, and he then performs the ability that grants Brook the immortality surgery, and it kind of doesn't work as he's expected, because Yohohoho, Brook is already immortal. Okay, he can die. So the techniques gives him an actual second life. Not as he expected, but kind of limiting a second life. So he could live like 70, 80, 90 years, whatever. But that's it. And he could even make him look human with this aspect, but I'm not sure about it. Maybe like a skeletal human. It may be that as I said, that this is fantasy, and we go for the swapping of the bodies, and you introduce here again the concept of Hawkback, the concept of Moria, and finding a body. That's how he was introduced, with the shadows, with the bodies, with the zombies, and swapping the bodies with someone or with a zombie looking, and he can even, Brook at the very end, take his corpse, his skeleton, and like in a ritual, and take it where the graves of the straw hats are, and bury his skeleton there, knowing that he's living that scene with another body, being another body, and having his last life, his third life, and basically yeah, having like a small mini adventure for him, because he lived for so long that whatever he's gonna live after this is gonna be a small adventure now. And in this new body, he carries on telling Luffy's tales and Luffy's adventures and everything. That, I think, that can be very beautiful as an end story for a character, for Brook. That's something that I would do if this would be my story, let's say. Let's do the fingers. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's the pinky, very long pinky as well, everything. As I always do, I love to do the characters loose, sketchy like this, okay? So let's kind of do now the cane. That, for all of you that don't know, the cane is a sword. This is his sword. Very nice. This is a real concept in, Victorian times, for example, and you can see this as well a lot in steampunk references or Victorian old references. You would see weapons. If you go to the museum and there are some weapon sections, go and investigate a little bit of this. There is many amount of weapons that they were hidden in canes, in small daily utensils, like maybe a gun inside a thing like this, or maybe a sword inside a gun, so you could use it double as well. And I love how Oda uses basically reality to create this kind of tools that we see in One Piece. The tools, the weapons, and everything. Let's do this very nice afro. Irregular, as I said, I like it from the original Brook design at the very beginning. I always loved more the pre-time skip designs. I always say it, and I think this is something about me, that I started watching them like this, and I got familiar like this with them, and yeah. This is the side, okay. Looking very nice, very sweet, our Brook. Okay. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. So, yeah, feel free to tell me what do you think about this idea, okay? I know this can be very controversial. Some people say maybe they kind of pulverize Brook and Brook ends up dying and everything, but the everlasting life or the life forever and everything, it's very tricky to make in a character. It can be very difficult for Brook, very sad. And obviously, Brook needs to have like a time limit. So Luffy and everyone, and as I said, they will end up dying at some point, and he needs to die with them. And I wouldn't want to see him alone again, because at last he could find his family, and Oda could play the kind of the epic thing of saying, oh my god, now he is basically he fulfilled his life and now blah blah blah, and he's happy with that. But I don't want Oda to leave him alone, okay? So let's see, there is this is the code at the back, okay? It's a little bit cut in pieces like this, but from up here the trouser come all the way. I'm gonna make it very, very thin like this. And now it's one of those things I'm drawing while sitting, okay? But when you are drawing, this is an art tip for all of you here that like to draw or trying to learn how to draw. Take distance. I'm just standing up here a little bit, 1 second. Today, sorry about it, but we are totally, completely out of our frame. The shoes are out of the frame. I'm doing sweet plain shoes that I always like to do like this. Okay. He has more like kind of Usopp type of shoes, but I like to do my kind of pointy shoes all the time. Just want you to see, and then I put it back as it was like this. Well, you're gonna be able to see it in the picture at the end, okay? In the picture I will put in Instagram as well. But now let's focus here to have most of him here, okay? Looking very nice. I'm gonna start filling the suit. He has like a bluish dark type of suit, but I wanna go for totally black probably, and then I may add a little bit of tone on top. I'm gonna change the thickness. I'm gonna use 0.4 now to fill all the areas, okay? So with this kind of thing that it may happen to Brook, or I think the thing that I would like Brook to happen to Brook, so he's not alone anymore, okay? And he could say, oh, I'm gonna go out now and hang out with Laboon, even if he already met Laboon, but he can go out and hang out with Laboon. That Laboon lives forever as well. Very long life animals, the whales, and in this type of specific whales in One Piece as well, the blue whales. And he will fulfill the promise even further, not only seeing Laboon, but staying with Laboon. He could sail with Laboon to the open seas, because at that point we don't have the red line anymore. The One Piece story is finished, and he can travel the world and everything, and telling Luffy's story basically. He could look like a skeleton, or like he is now, or he can even look like a human, with a very skeletal human face, like an old man, and till his time comes. Until I think more, I would like more the concept of him taking his own body, his own skeleton, being a human, swapped in another body, left there and buried with the rest of the crew, and then he going to Laboon and trying to revive his old life and say, okay, now Laboon, my Nakama, let's travel the world, you and I together. By that time, obviously, Crocus is dead as well, because Crocus is an old man. And yeah, I think it can be a very beautiful concept for Brook. I'm reading One Piece, I would say, I don't know how many years I'm reading One Piece, since the very beginning, basically. I'm many years reading One Piece. And, this pen is not gonna... Yeah or no? It's gonna be able to play ball, this pen, or no? I know it's gonna take ages with this pen. I'm gonna change to probably 0.8. Just give me 1 second. Okay, there we are. As I see, yeah, 0.8 we're gonna be doing. Just let me 1 second. Just in case we're a little bit, tiny bit out of focus or something. I was just painting the hat and I realized this pen wants to die. It's going there slow, and I didn't like it. It slows you down. This 0.8 is thicker. We're gonna be filling it quicker, the whole thing, and on top of that is newer. So all the ink is more liquidish, more fresh, and it's not stopping much. As you can see, it fills quite quickly. I wanna kind of recreate this kind of afro that he has texture, so I'm, instead of painting in a line, I'm doing circles, like doodling circles like this. So how I'm not painting full paint, all of it. If you see, I don't know if it is, you can appreciate it much in the video, but there is kind of white areas, small white areas that creates this kind of effect, like afro effect. Feel free to try it at home. When you want to try some textures, you can do some squares maybe, and do circles, lines, crosses to see how it looks. This is looking very nice so far. So I think that's more or less the theory that I have for today about Brook. I just want to kind of throw there to everyone and to see what everyone thinks. Basically, this concept of Brook having to meet with Law at some point. Law will use his fruit, immortality surgery or no, the swap of the personalities, the swap of the soul that he does, and with that we will see Brook having another chance to have a last life, to die, outliving all the Mugiwaras, all the Straw Hats, yes, traveling on his own with Laboon, probably telling the stories of Luffy in all the taverns of the world and everywhere, and scaring all the marines and scaring all the little kids about, oh, Luffy the Jonko, oh, Luffy this and that. Incredible. And dying at the very end and having an end, because there is a skeleton drawn, and that is something that if you read the manga or if you buy that, I encourage you. I have all the mangas here at home, all the volumes. I encourage you to buy the manga, obviously, so you can support Oda and support the manga and other manga artists buying other mangas. In all the volumes, you have this little drawing of Oda of a skeleton guy with a pirate hat, and that is kind of pretty similar to the original design that Oda had in mind for Brook. And obviously that is telling me that Romance Down and all the story of One Piece, this is obviously, like all the beautiful stories, someone is telling you the story, and in this case who better character than what a better character than Brook to tell the story. And then at the very end of the story, we jumped into the present time, the real present time, Brook's present time, and he says his farewell, his goodbye, like, hey, goodbye everyone, it was a pleasure to tell you the stories of my captain, blah blah blah, and then Brook dies. I think that's kind of some sort of the story of Luffy can be something like that, and I will love it. And you see this skeleton in all the mangas. I think that is the narrator, and that is Brook, and it's been thought since the very beginning, and I haven't seen anyone talking about it, but maybe such a obvious thing that it doesn't even need to be pointed out, but yeah, one of those nice things. Okay, and I just wanted to kind of make this video, Miss Brook video, a little bit more kind of a tribute for Brook, and kind of a review on Brook, regarding Brook and his role in the crew. So basically he's nice with music. Obviously we have the Binks no Sake song that I think it is connected to the end of the story. I think that song is telling the real story of the One Piece, of the Buccaneer, of the first pirate, Joy Boy and everything, or maybe even from before. Obviously all the connections with Crocus, with Laboon, with Gold Roger, because Crocus was the doctor in Gold Roger's crew. Funny thing, Brook calls Roger the rookie. I say, I remember that rookie called Roger when I was in my young years of piracy. And I have a very nice theory about Crocus and the whole concept of the journey to the center of the earth, that I think it is connected to mid Elbaf, end of Elbaf, and how are we gonna be going forward. Let's keep painting this. As I said, Brook is almost done. We are just gonna add a little bit of tones in a moment, but it's looking very nice, very sweet, very alive. And I like it. I like it very much. At the beginning, you know, Brook is showed as a weak character and a scared character. Zoro needs to take over the fight with Ryuma and everything. That Ryuma was absurdly strong. You know, but in all the crews, you have some of the guys are fighters, some of the other ones are, you know, cheeky, clever, and intelligent ones, and resourceful one. Brook is very resourceful. Brook displays to be a person with good wit. Someone who basically is skilled at using words, ideas, is clever, but in an amusing way, in an imaginative way, okay? Like the Salt, for example. He discovers the weakness of the zombies very epically, but it is for luck. It is in a funny way, it's by accident, so that's a funny thing, that everything that Brook does all the time is in a funny way. And I love it, to be honest, I love it. I'm gonna straighten up a little bit more the hat, the top hat. I miss original Brook design. This Rockstar design that the Oda made him afterwards and everything, I'm not much fan of it. I like more the traditional Brook style, gentleman, beautiful and elegant. That's the Brook I like, and it happens. I said it before. It happens to me all the time with the One Piece characters. I always like more most of the time I like more the old school design. I believe his fruit is awakened. Okay, this Paramecia Yomi Nomi. I think when the fruit is normal, he has a second life, and when the fruit is awakened, he can extract the soul, do like an astral projection, plus all these new attacks that he's doing with his soul, and he's kind of personificating the soul and attacking and affecting the others, similar to what we see in the Red movie, in the Uta movie with Tot Musica. I think Brook, and the power of Brook is touching all the aspects of the gods and the spirits that we are seeing now in One Piece with Luffy, Sun God Nika, with Bonnie being able to replicate the power, as well with Gorosei, Imu, and all of the things referring to Satan, if that theory happens to be true at the very end of the story. Yeah, it is very interesting, and I love it. Let's add a little bit more of tone here. I love the whole Big Mom story with Brook. We all thought that Sanji's saga was whole cake, but hold your horse, pardon me, excuse-moi. Brook, the MVP, the GOAT, faces on his own a Yonko. He makes copies of the Robins and steals them. This is brutally epic what Brook achieves in whole cake. At the end of the story, he ends up dressing as Luffy in disguise. He comes out from the cake, and in this whole commotion and everything, he is the one who ends up breaking Mother's Caramel Picture. It's brutal, it's cheeky, it's epic, and I always waited since Brook was out, like, oh my god, I hope Oda gives him a little bit of a story, because it's looking to me such a secondary character, you know, secondary character. He's one of the main guys, and I know we will have more importance with the main guys, you know, Luffy, Nami, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp may have more importance in the whole story, but that doesn't mean that you need to leave on the side the other guys. And I've been waiting for these things, and then when Whole Cake happened, man, that was so epic. That was so epic. I loved his cheekiness and his disrespect. Not disrespect, like kind of disregard, like kind of like Big Mom is a kid. No, he calls there's a moment that he calls Big Mom young lady. He's calling how is it called, Roger a rookie. So this cheekiness that he has, I love it, and it makes me smile so much. And as I said before, I would love to Oda to tone down a little bit the pervert side of both of Brook and of Sanji, but regarding the story and the things that Oda has made him do lately and everything, I love it. It's very nice. I love it. So I think we're almost there. We're almost there. When he's teaming up with Frankie and they run over Big Mom and everything, it is too cool. Brook for me is a ton of fun, and I don't think because of this, I don't think Oda will allow him to live eternally and keep being alone. Even if he has all these stories, I don't see that happening. Even if he doesn't die at the end and he keeps a skeleton how it is until now and goes with Laboon at some point, 100 years, 200 years, 1000 years, Laboon needs to have a time limit, expiration date, and Laboon will die as well, okay? So I don't think we will see, let's do a little bit more of smoke there. I don't think we will see Brook having a sad ending, and we wanna cry, but we wanna cry of joy, not of sadness with Brook. I think Brook is so lovable that we wanna see him all the time being happy. You know what I mean? This is looking very nice. I'm just gonna add kind of a hue of blue to the suit. Even if I like it black, but just to create a little bit of ambience under the suit there. It's not gonna be able to be appreciated much, but it's looking nice. And now the skeleton needs to have a little bit of, you know, dark shading around like this. Okay. yeah, so as I explained before, just a little recap, I think it could work very, very nice, very sweet for Brook end of the story, because if Oda doesn't use Law, Trafalgar Law, with his fruit, the OP to help Brook, it's gonna be a little bit bittersweet, the end of the story with Brook and everything, and the crying when Usopp dies, and then he cries, and Zorro, and he cries again, and he's losing again all his nakamas, and it can be very sad, very overwhelming. And we need to remember as well, this is a shonen manga, this is a story of adventure, and a story that it needs to end up nice, okay? It needs to end up nice. Okay, just gonna add a little bit of tone here on the floor as well. Just a small recap, as I said. So I think at some point towards the end of the story, when we see that everything is finishing, Law needs to... if Oda wants to keep Law, and Law is not gonna die, let's say, if Law is gonna die, before he dies, he needs to apply the swap or this immortal surgery to Brook, so Brook is able to die using the reverse technique there. And if Law keeps on the story, surviving and everything, and he goes, travels the world, and with his crew, and with whoever he wants to travel the world, or he wants to settle down and be a doctor, whatever, he meets anyway with Brook, and this kind of surgery happens anyway, because he... everyone is chasing that. The Doflamingo was chasing that, the Marines were chasing that, everyone was chasing that. Imu as well, the OP, all of them are aware of that, and I have to say that it is a very important fruit just to disregard and leave on the side. I need to... yeah, now it is. A little bit of orange there to the tone. And in this way, Brook can die with his nakamas, or after his nakamas, after everyone is dead already, he can travel the world, have the surgery done by Law, or have the swap of the bodies done by Law, bury his own corpse, his own skeleton, and at some point going to have his last adventure with Laboon around the world, tell Luffy's stories, and then he can die in peace, and we have a ending for Brook. I don't think we're gonna see a 2-piece and is Brook traveling, telling the stories. This one piece already, I think, as I said at the beginning, I already think is Brook is the narrator, and Brook is telling the story of Luffy since the very beginning. And as we see when he meets, the first things that he's doing in Thriller Bark, after Thriller Bark as well, while talking and while eating and everything, and enjoying the things that he shouldn't enjoy, like food. He can't enjoy the food or taste the food because he has no tongue. But Usopp is telling him stories, Robin is telling him stories, and I think this is Oda indirectly pointing us towards Brook is the narrator. He's telling the whole story of Luffy, and when One Piece is finished, and then it's time for Brook to go to sleep, like a vampire, like sit maybe there, go to sleep, do the swap of the bodies, and be able to end his adventure as well. I think it can be beautiful if it is done in that way, and I'm so curious to see what's gonna happen, because the concept of eternity is touched in many stories and many comics, many books, many fantasy or science fiction stories, and it never has a proper ending, an interesting ending, and I think with this it can be very nice. I think this is the video for today. Okay, let's sign. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23, you can say it as you want, and this is the Mandragon's Cave. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed the theory. Feel free to share it, like it, comment, subscribe, send it to your nakamas, to your friends, to your family, and yeah, let's open conversation in the comments to see what do you think about this specific theory, and if you want to see other theories. There are plenty of theories in the channel that I invite you to watch, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!